Hi, welcome to The Shed. My name is Mr. H, and this is our one-a-day musicianship challenge brought to you by Bob Rogers Travel. This is the final episode in our swing lap drumming series, and this is a giveaway episode. We're going to be giving away two things today. First thing, super cool, found the box for it. It's a pair of Shure in-ear monitors, and these are Bluetooth monitors. So I've been using them for a week, not this pair, but I've been using a different pair just to test them out for a week and a half, and I really like them. It's super nice to be able to have like a good quality recording with nice isolation when you're going to practice. So especially for a drummer, if you're going to practice with a track or something, not having to worry about a wire around you, but still getting good isolation so that you can hear the track without it being too loud, so it's not going to damage your ears. It's really nice to have. So we'll be giving this away, and we'll also be giving a half-hour lesson with jazz drummer Rocky Martin. So what you have to do is you have to complete today's challenge, and then you're going to have to upload it. Now, it's going to be a little longer than a minute, so it can't upload to Instagram, but it could upload to YouTube. So what you should do is you should upload it to YouTube, and then you're going to tag Shed the Music, or you can email us with a video or a link to your video, shedthemusic@gmail.com, and we will take the winner in 2 weeks, and then it'll be super cool. So today's challenge is a little more difficult because it uses quarter note combinations, it uses eighth note combinations, and some eighth note triplets in there. What Rocky does is he creates some really popular comping patterns using those rhythms, and you have to copy those comping patterns. So you're going to take a video of yourself playing those patterns, just like Rocky's doing. You can do it with the recording, submit it in, and then you could win some sweet headphones. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Shed, everyone. We're going to conclude our eighth note exercises with some eighth notes around the grid and some comping combinations. So our half note is still 60 BPM. We're still doing the ride cymbal pattern and the left foot being the hi-hat. These are just some simple comping patterns that are super useful when you start playing some jazz drumming in scenarios. The first one we're going to do is on the and of 1, the and of 2, and beat 4. 1, 2, you'll sing it through and then play it. A 1 and a 4, 1 and a 4, 1 and 4, 1 and a 4, and a 4, and a 4, and a 4, and a 4. Good. And a 4, and a 4, and a 4, and a 4. Awesome. Take that slow if you want to. Go back. You could turn your metronome down, and eventually you could start singing along to it as well. Next example we're going to do is going to be the and of 2, the and of 3, and beat 4. 1, 2, I'll sing it first. 1, 2, and 4, and 4, and 4, and 4, and 4, and 4. Good. And 4. And 4, and 4. Make sure you're thinking about your left hand more than anything else. Your right hand and your left foot should not be thought about a lot. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. Make sure everything feels good. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Good. For our next example, we're going to add in some simple triplets. We're going to do the first 2 triplets of beat 1 and the first 2 triplets of beat 2, and then we're going to hit beat 4. This one might be a bit tricky because it's the first time adding in triplets, but if you take your time with it, maybe slow your metronome down, you should be fine. So again, the first 2 triplets of beat 1, the first 2 triplets of beat 2, and the beat 4. 2, I'll sing it first, ready, go. A 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4. 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 Ba 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 ba. A 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4. Good. 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 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 4. For these triplet ones, if you want to say doodle-ah throughout the whole thing, That's totally fine too. Here's doodle-la with that same pattern. Ready, go. A doodle-la, 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 do. La doodle-la, 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 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4, a 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4. Awesome. For our next pattern, we're going to do the and of 1, the and of 2, and 4, and the and of 4. I'll sing that first. A 1, a 2, a ready, go. A 1, and, a 4, and, a 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and here we go. 1, and, a 4, and, 4, and, 4, and, a 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and good. For our next pattern, we're going to do beat 1, the and of 1, we're going to do the and of 2, and we're going to do beat 4. 1, 2, I'll sing it first. 1, and, 4, 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 a 1, and, 4, a 1, and, a 4, and 1, and, 4, 1, and, 4, a 1, and, sorry, 4, a 1, and, you got it, 4, 1, and, 4, a 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Awesome. For our last combination for today, we're going to do the and of 1, beat 2, the and of 2, and beats 4 and the and of 4. I'll sing that first. A 1, and 2, and, a 4, 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 and 2, and, 4, and 2, and, a 4, and 2, and, 4, and 2, and, a 4, and. Again, if you have trouble with these, take these slow, and then bump up the tempo. Take out a limb if you want. You can take out your hi-hat and just play your right hand. So let's do that same pattern without the hi-hat. You could do this with any of these combinations. 2, a same pattern. And 2, and, a 4, and 2, and, 4, and 2, and, 4, and. Then you could add it back in. Here we go. A 1, and 2, and, a 4, and 2, and, 4, and 2, and, 4, and 2, and, a 4, and. Thanks so much. That has been some eighth note comping patterns with a couple of triplets as well. Have a good one.